Good afternoon, boys and girls of grade 6. How are you today? I'm fine too. Now, today we're going to begin our journey on a new topic. Alright? Now, before we go into this topic, I have a very short video for you to look at. And when you finish looking at that, then you're going to be able to tell me what we're going to be looking at, and if you know about this stuff, what other information or what knowledge you have on this topic.
In this module, you will learn about different three-dimensional shapes. Every day we come across various objects. For example, a ball, a brick, an ice cream cone, and a can. All these objects have a three-dimensional shape. A solid shape will generally have dimensions like length, breadth, and height.
So now that we have finished looking at the video, can the class tell me what we're looking at today? Yes, we're looking at solid shapes. I'm going to write the topic on the board now. Good. We're looking at solid shapes. Now, judging from the video, can you tell me a solid shape? Can you name me a solid shape? Anyone? Alright, Paul, name a solid shape for me. Yes, Paul, that is correct. A cube is a solid shape. Right? Carla, name me another one. Yes, a cone is a solid shape. So it is evident to me that the class has some form of previous knowledge on the topic, because you would have done it in grade 5, grade 4, grade 3, grade 2, and grade 1, right? So we're just going to be continuing getting you to understand this topic a bit more. That we would have identified the topic that we're looking at, we're going to go into our lesson. Now, before we identify our solid shapes, we're going to read what's on the board to get a better understanding of the topic we're doing. So we're going to read together, so you're going to follow my lead. Right? Good. Many objects that you see in your day-to-day life, like a book, pencil box, ice cream cone, football, and cylinder, are three-dimensional objects or solid shapes. All these objects occupy some shape and have three dimensions. These dimensions are length, breadth, and height or depth. Example, we can say that a figure drawn on paper which has length, breadth are called 3D figures. In a mathematical term, a 3D shape has three dimensions, and the 3D here stands for dimensional, right? So we have three dimensions. We have height, we have length, and we have breadth, right? We could use another term, depth, in place of height. So now that we've finished looking at the definition for solid shape, I want you to name some objects in your classroom environment or at home, or at your home environment, that takes on the form of solid shapes that we've looked at. Right? Okay. So, yes, Paul, name me one inside the classroom. The board eraser. Yes, very good, Paul. Now, what shape do you think the board eraser carries, Paul, or what solid shape it represents? Yes, the cuboid. Very good. Give Paul a clap. Pauline, I want you to name me another one in the classroom. Chalk box. Yes. And what solid shape does the chalk box represent? Yes, very good. A cuboid. Give Pauline a round of applause. Paul, name me one, another one inside the classroom. Yes, the water bottle. And the water bottle represents what? Which solid shape, Paul? Yes, the cylinder. Good boy, good boy. Ice cream cone. Yes, and that the name of that one speaks to which solid shape Carla is trying to represent. The cone, right? And now we're left with another shape here. The pyramid. It's remaining. Think of your home, some part of your home, Andrew, and tell me if you can think about one. The rooftop. Yes, the roof, right? That's the one that the roof that's it's almost like this here. You have this side of the front of the house. You have the two sides, and then you have the back coming up to make it into a pyramid shaped roof, right? Very good, Andrew. Very good. I want you to identify this solid shape for me. Yes, Paul, it is a cube. Class, what is it? Yes, it's a cube. Now, in our definition, we would have said that a solid shape has 3 dimensions, right? So we're going to try and identify the 3 dimensions, right? So here, if I move this way vertically, I'm making what? Yes, Carla, height. I'm making height. I'm going upwards. Height. Right? Good. But if I rub down now, right? What will you term this as? I'm going downwards. Yes, depth. Right? Very good, John. Very good. Right? Depth. Like for example, if you go into the ocean, you have to dive. They would be saying that you're going to the depths of the ocean, right? You're going downwards, right? Good. So we already identified the height, right? We have the what? The width here. Yes, very good, Pauline, very good, right? And length, right? We could say we can have length here, right? Yes, very good. Now the tricky thing with the cube is that all sides are equal, right? All sides are equal, right? Will be better to identify the length and the breadth when we move on to cuboids, right? Good. Our next solid shape. Good. So I said the next solid shape is the cuboid, right? Good. So we have the very good, yes, the height. We have the what? The length, and yes, we have the breadth, right? Good. So we're being able to identify the 3 dimensions so far. Let us look here at the cone, the cylinder, right? We have height, right? And we have the length of the circumference, and then we have the width of the circumference, right? So the length of the circumference here, the top here, the circle shape here, right? And then we have the width of the circumference, right? Good. And we could identify. So I won't name them. I want you to name them for me, right? So if I'm to move from this point to this point, it will be what? Yes, very good, John. That will be the height. If I move from this point here to this point here, I will get what? Yes, Pauline, the length, right? And if I'm to move from this point to this point here, see here, this point to this point, I will get what? Yes, Carla, the breadth. So how many dimensions we would have identified here? Very good, Paul. 3, right? We identified 3 dimensions, right? And we have our last shape here, the cone. All right? The last shape we have here is the cone, right? And we are now able to identify the 3 dimensions. All right? So now that would have brought us to the end of today's lesson. And before we conclude the lesson, I would like for us to review what we would have done together today. Alright? Good. So Andrew, can you tell me what are solid shapes? Yes, solid shapes are shapes that have 3 dimensions. Good. So, Paul, can you name me one of those dimensions? Yes, Paul. Height is one of those dimensions. Carla, name me one. Yes, Carla. Length is one. Paulie, name me another one. Yes, the breadth is another one. Right? Good. So, if we're going to put that together, we're going to say that solid shapes are shapes that have 3 dimensions: height, length, and breadth, in whichever order you want to put it. Alright? Good. So can you name me some solid shape? Give me some example of solid shapes. Yes? Very good. Cube. Yes, cuboid. Pyramid. Yes, very good. Pyramid. Yes, a water bottle, and the water bottle represent what shape, Carla? Yes, a cylinder. Right? A cylinder. Good. So it is evident that you would have all understand what we did today. And I would like you, for when you go home, to do some further research on solid shapes. Alright? Because tomorrow we're going to be looking at the properties of solid shapes. Okay? You have a good day and take care.